All right, and then share screen, screen. Okay, all right, where was I? Okay, so I was saying, let's say we're in bandit scene, right? Um, ooh, we have this nice scene. Um, and then just to like this this would be easy, right? Like if you had a spawn marker that was like a town, something that was called like a town spawn marker, and you just dragged it on here, and then you see like the area, like the collider area that it encompass, and whenever you go into there, you can you'll know that the player is automatically going to be notified that they went into the area, and that's all you would need to do. Like that would be easy, right? Hello, hello. Does does that make sense? Are you seeing what I'm saying? Okay, 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 okay. So let's say okay. So we have this town, right? So we have this town. Let me duplicate this. Let's say we have this spawn marker, and we'll call this town name. I'm gonna unpack. Okay, so this has a capsule collider. So let's say this was the spawn marker town name. Maybe we should change the naming convention to like town name spawn marker. Like that's more readable, right? Like that's more readable. If it was like alphabetical, that was first. Town name spawn marker. And then, right? So like if you're playing and you want to make, or maybe we call it location name spawn marker, right? And like you wanted this to be a location, so like if the player was if the player came into this town, right? Once he walked in and and collided with this area, he would be notified that this was a town, right? And all you would have to do is just do this, right? And then maybe like um and maybe let's see shader, let's do like, oh, this is a special options. All right. And then maybe if you want to make another location, you just duplicate it and then move it, and then you move one over here, and then you reduce the radius, and then that's it, right? And then maybe there's a property in here in which you like change the name, and that's all you would have to do. So, and when we're playing the game, when the player collides, like runs into this area, the name automatically comes up on their screen, right? Does that make sense? You can see what I'm saying. Yeah. So okay, so Danny, you see what we're trying to implement, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can talk about that, or that doesn't matter, right? So all or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter right now. All it matters is that we want the collision to be there, and then we want to be notified of that happening, and we want to pass that data back. And then we just want to make sure that whatever is handling that display is that's its own separate system, right? So let's try um, Jessica, but I think it'd also be good for you to watch this part just so that maybe you can kind of see how like things will work with specifically with the collision. Um, let's see. So I think for this one, maybe I'll start it off. Danny, is that okay if you watch? And maybe I'll pass it on to you midway. So let's okay. So so what I want to do is to I want to so create the town display name collision like collision trigger object. And what I want is to introduce how to use the collision detector script for future collision actions. Okay, so anything like in the future. So so if you understand how this works, then you'll understand how all the other collision in the game works, especially with AI and stuff, in terms of like what the player sees and what they touch and things like that. Okay, so so to keep things like as like streamlined and standard, I made this script called um here. Let me first make a different shader. Uh, NPC group spawn marker. So let me duplicate this and call this maybe location name spawn marker. I don't know. Well, what color do you guys think this would be good for this for a marker? Like a yellow? Yellow's good. Uh, let me see. Oh yeah. This is this yellow. Maybe like maybe maybe like a dark yellow. What is? Whoops. Yeah. Maybe like a tan. Maybe tan or something like tan. Is this a tan? Yeah, it's like a tan. Peach, tan, peach material. Okay, and then location marker is this one, and then location. Where do I put the material? It's in the mesh render. Yeah, peach. All right, all right. That kind of sticks out, right? So this is like a the location. Did something just happen to my screen? I feel like something just shifted. Like, did was this somewhere else before? I feel like this is like up here or something. All right. Okay. Okay. So we got this. Let's. All right. So let's delete this. All right. Okay. So we have the location. We have a capsule collider. Make it a trigger. Right. It's a spawn marker. Spawn marker type. Maybe. All right. Let's do this. Let's do it. Add a type. Uh, location. I just say location. Do I do anything with it? Yeah. All right. How can you do what? Oh, how can I code in a white background? Is it like blinding you? Uh, it's like flashbang you every time I. Uh, I think like I So what I did was I noticed that when I spent a lot of time, like, in the black background, my eyes actually felt like they got drier, like, they got more tired. Like yeah, like, when I especially when I looked at, like when I did a lot of stock trading and just looked at charts all day, I noticed that when I had the black background charts, my eyes got more strained, like, over a long period of time than the white background. So then I was wondering, like, maybe it's, like, affecting my coding too. My coding affects me also. So I just changed it back and I think so, yeah, like yeah, yeah. Okay, alright, so I have a class so whenever there's, like, a collision, right? Um, uh, so how you would normally do collision is you would create a script and you would say, like, maybe I make a custom script, right? And it says, um, like, maybe I go to a custom script. And then in the script, I would say, what is it? Void on trigger enter, right? And then I have to like implement this, right? So instead of doing this, I would just have a collision trigger script. So instead of doing a custom on trigger enter for every single object, I would just have this script called, uh, let's see, collision detector, I believe is the script. And so if I add a collision detector here, so how this works is that it has a so this is the thing that follows this is the thing that follows the the like owner slash delegate protocol, owner delegate pattern. Um, so so my collision detector is this, right? So I don't need to add any code. It'll detect collisions. When it detects a collision, the code automatically notifies the collision detector delegate, and the collision detector delegate handles any collision that was detected, right? So the thing about collision, let's see, the thing about owner delegate pattern is that, like, you can all so this is like this has separation of concerns. What this is also good for, and what it is a one to one one to one callback. Okay, so this is kind of like a feature or drawback to it, is it only notifies one delegate. So you don't like register multiple actions to it. It's not like an action, like a on this action performed. I could have done that, but um, I'll have to go over why I wanted to use this. Okay, so so with that being said, let's say okay, so create the town name. Okay, okay. So we want what we want to do is create the spawning, create the location spawn marker, location name spawn marker. Okay, we did that. Um, have it notify collisions. Okay, we did it. Um, make sure it has collider, and then we need to receive receive notification of collision. from its delegate, and then take the retrieve the location name and display it. Okay. And then what are we going to do? We're going to maybe who displays it? Who displays the name? Who displays the name? Who handles displaying of name? Um, what would it be? Danny, what would you say? Who or what? It would be okay, so player no, no, nothing like that, nothing like that. So a player walks into this, boom, it recognizes it, it tells who does it tell? Who does the collider tell that a player walked into me? Who gets notified? Maybe a maybe the game manager, right? Either the game manager. Yeah, because you wanna be able to yeah, it would be the game manager because it's not gonna be the scene manager because this can happen in it can happen in any scene, so you don't wanna implement it more than one time. It can also be the player in I is a it could be the player actions manager because the player is the one who walked into it, right? Probably the player actions manager because the player is the one who's interacting with it. Does that make sense? Correct. And then the yeah, yeah, so then it can pull from, either a s either something in the HUD, remember our Scion HUD? We can pull from something from the HUD, or we can throw a pop-up that, like, briefly displays the name or something, or something, right? So that makes sense because the player action manager is the one who, handles UI logic with player actions. So that's good. So the player actions manager will handle the displaying of the name, and then that's it. Okay. And now all we have to do is get get we have to register it. So we have to register the co register the collision detector with the player actions manager. So so doing this, right, we can either do this two ways. We can either the player action manager needs to know of land tile and this land tile, look for the player action manager needs to look for the land tile, like whenever the land tile is loaded, the player action manager looks for it and looks for this thing to register itself as the collision detector delegate, or this collision detector delegate looks for the player action manager when it loads, right? It's either one or the other. I think it makes I think it makes more sense to have the collision detector look for the player actions manager, right? Because if we do it the other way around, if we move this around, it's going to be hard for the player actions manager to find it. The the player actions manager will always be where it's going to be. Okay, so we're going to so to register this, we'll uh, register by creating a custom script for this location name object. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll just create a script. Let me where would I create the script? Where do I want to create the script? Uh, where was it? The spawn markers? Spawn markers. Probably here, right? Maybe a custom spawn marker script. So so I'll create script. Where's the script? Am I going crazy? Is there not a create new script? Oh, right there, mono behavior script. Okay. Um, si location si location name object si location name object. Is that good? And then we'll drop it. Whoops. Okay, got to compile. Oops. Okay, so drop it. No. Okay. Location name object. Okay. All right. So okay, so location name object. I think we need. All right. Okay, so we just need to register the location detector with the player actions manager, right? So we need to register. So on start or awake, register this object's collision detector delegate to the player actions manager. So void on void start. So we're going to find the players, find the player actions manager, and then we're going to get the collision detector and then set it up as the collision detector's delegate. Okay, so let's go to the, okay, so let's do it, right? So find the player actions manager, si player actions manager equals game object dot. Can we just do a find? Find any object by type player actions manager. Okay. So just do a null check, just in case. We want to get the collision detector. And so collision detector, just say equals this game object dot get component collision detector. Do another null check. If we got it, then we set up the collision detector's delegate. And then we just say collision detector dot, do I have it set collision delegate, the call delegate as player actions manager. So we'll just do that. Okay. and we can't do it because the player's action manager, so the delegate, right? So the collision, it has to be a type collision detector delegate. So let's go to the player actions manager and implement that. So 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 this is going to extend as a collision detect collision collision detector delegate. Boom. And then for it to implement this interface, we need to add it. So interfaces and stuff at the very bottom. Let me see. This is a public class. Okay, so it's a namespace and then class. So two brackets. One, two. Okay. I'm just gonna write collision detector delegate callbacks. End of. Okay. So void collision dot. So it should autofill, right? The two methods. So 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 to implement the the delegate, right? You just look at the collision detector and you just look at this interface and it just has to implement these methods. So void collision detector delegate dot did untouch any target. Okay. So did hit any target, did untouch any target. Whenever that happens, it passes the game object and its collision detector. This is always a convention of this like this owner delegate pattern. Whenever you have the delegate callback methods, it always passes back the like object or data of interest, and then it always passes back itself. That's just something to be aware of. Jessica, you don't have to memorize this. You just have yeah, just okay. Yeah, just have in the back of mind that this is like how it works. And then so let's say the so we know that this is so we'll say these should okay. We don't know if it'll will if player actions manager will handle any other kind of collision detection. So we'll just explicitly say um, location location name collision detections. So we need to know if the collision detector came from a location name. So need to know if collision detector is a location name object. So maybe we do like um maybe just do a method, right? Like so if there's like a complicated evaluational thing, I just like to make a new boolean. So like maybe like bool is collision detector is collision detector a location name. And then we pass in maybe is is maybe game is is collision detector from a location name. Is collision detector from a location name? Collision detector. Maybe we do this, right? Bool is from location equals false. Return is from well, whenever I'm implementing like Boolean checks, I always like to do this. I always just to like start with the negative and return it and then like do the logic inside. Uh, and then okay, and then we can just say like if is collision detector from a location name detector. I also like to explicitly use I also like to explicitly call the parameter type, like the parameter variable name, because I just think it's a lot clearer, right? So like for example, if you see this method, right? If you see this method, show reward menu for reward inventory, you know that the first method is rewards inventory. It's expecting a rewards inventory, and the next method is expecting a action that's on reward accepted, right? If I didn't have this, right, and you didn't know what the code was, and I just had this, and I just passed in these two variables, right? Like look at the difference, right? You have no idea how these things are what they are. If you just looked at this variable and said show reward menu for reward inventory, I pass in a rewards inventory and on reward accepted. You're like, okay, but then you ask yourself, um, show reward menu for reward inventory. Like maybe like, can I pass in other inventories? Like, are there other things, right? And maybe what if I've had like player inventory, right? Like, what if I pass in a player inventory or NPC inventory? If you had something like this, and let's say they were the same types, at a glance, this is easier to check if somebody made a coding error. Does that make sense? Like here, you can explicitly see that it's expecting something and what you're giving, what it's expecting and what you're giving. Because what if you pass on reward hidden, right? And you're like rewards inventory on reward hidden. And this was an action, right? Action on reward hidden equals no. Okay. What if it was this, right? And there was like no errors and somebody for some reason just typed in the wrong action or they didn't know and you don't have errors. This is really hard to debug, right? But if you have this, right? If you have this, if you have this, all of a sudden you're like on reward accepted, on reward hidden. Whoa, wait a second, right? Like there should be alarms going off in your head. I like to explicitly name parameters so that when I look at the code, I can tell is the intent and the implementation, do they match? If that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry, I was just digressing. I just okay. So is collision detector from a location name collision detector? If it is, then what are we gonna do again? We're going to oh, we need to check. Hey, where'd you go in the other room? We need to check if target object is player, right? And then check if and if it is, show the hey Levi, Daddy's working here. I need you to not talk or go somewhere else. Okay, check if the target is player. If it is, show the location. And then we do and then that's it. So I think we have so if something is player, I believe that is something that I have. It's a method. So I can do game manager dot I think it's because it has to do with a character. I think it's under is character is is player. Do I have it like an is player? Game manager dot is dot py character, no, py game dot is character. I feel like I have something that says is character a player. Is character a player? Is player. Character data is player. I feel like I have a method that checks is character. Is character a merchant? Is character in combat? I can't believe I don't have a method that says is if if the character is player. Is character a player? Is character player? Boolean is player. If character dot is player equals true, get player data. Py maybe in the is player set game object name if is player if data dot is player. Okay, so I just do it. I just do. Oh my god. Okay, so I just need to make it right. I can just make it. Okay, so we should just make it if something is player because we're gonna need that. Py game manager. So is character. So we'll just add it here. Public boolean is character player. Py character. So the py character is the main script that like a running character is. That's the main thing. So that character has all the animations and stuff, and it has the data. So boolean is player equals false. Return is player, and then is player is just like we saw py character right here. If is player, so if data dot is player, this is it. So so there is a data object like the character data object. If character dot data dot is player equals true. Okay, and that's how we check. We just check the character's data object if there is player thing is flagged. Okay, so now we have check if the target. Yeah, we could. So you're saying like if we can do a check here? Here? Yeah. Yeah, so I can, but a convention, like I said, the convention I try to do is when I'm doing a Boolean check, I always have what I'm trying to return, like if something is true and then I return it, and then I have the conditions for whether it's true or not in the middle. No matter how redundant it is, I always do this because just in case the logic changes, I don't want to have to feel like so like I can't do this. I can't return character dot data dot is player, right? I can do this, right? Um I feel like this makes it harder to debug if for some reason there's a null error anywhere in here, right? And also like if I ever wanted to check the logic, I'm like, okay, I have to check. I'm like, okay, is this like, there's just a lot of questions that I have to ask if I'm like, is this method calculating it properly? You have to assume, I'm like, what is player an object, right? Am I just checking the null existence of an object? Am I checking, um, what if this was null? Um, the advantages to having it be so explicit, just like in my opinion, I don't know, I could be wrong, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but like if character doesn't have data, you'll get a null error like right here, right? Like you'll get a null error right here and you'll know exactly, oh, it's easier to go. I don't have to like debug through like several different things and jump through several different things. And also, um, I don't know. I just feel like in case I ever wanted to change the logic, like maybe I move this out and we don't want this anymore, we just change this and then everything else like stays intact. Does that make sense? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it might be a little bit just like yeah. Yeah, yeah, maybe. So like this, right? Like is character a merchant, right? Like, okay, the merchant is going to be this attribute, right? Like if it has an attribute, right? So here I can say that, oh, it has to have this attribute, and then or it's not relying on a boolean. Just looking at other bools, like so this is the bool turning, this is the bool, and then this is all the logic. It's just easier for me. If it's simple, right? I would just want to see that, oh, it's just this one simple thing. I don't know. It's just easier for me to read. I feel like it's less processing work. Okay. Check if player if you do just do that one line, it's fine. I'm just trying to tell you my thought process. Oh, we have like 10 minutes. Okay, let me try to be quick. If target object is player, okay, so if game manager dot py game manager dot is character a player, and then the character is expecting okay, so here, so I'm expecting a character, but I'm given a target object, right? Is is game object is game object a player? Is game object player? I made it here. Is game object player? That's where I made it. So let's do is character a player? I don't want to have to rip the character script out. So let's also make another one. A wrapper class, public bool is game object player. Game object target object. Let's do that, right? Let's do that. Boolean is player equals false. Return is player. Okay, so we can do is game object a player, and we're going to return target object is our target object from our callback when we hit. So we're passing this into this. Um, is game object a player, and here we're just going to try to rip out the characters class. So py character equals target object dot get component py character if character, so if it exists, then we can do is character a player. We're going to pass in the character that it expects. Is player equals this boolean method. Is this make sense? So this is just a wrapper class to accept the target object. So I'm going to rip out, try to get a character class. If it exists, we're going to pass the check to the character class to see if is player. And if it's not, if it's null, or if it's not a player, it's just going to be false, and then it's going to be false. And then if the target object, then we want to show it. So we'll say debugger.log um, entered location, and we need to get the location, right? We need to get the location. We'll just say entered location for now. Entered a location. Okay. So we'll get that after. So let's recap. So visually, let's see if we can like see what's going on, all right? So visually, we have the collision detector, location names collision detector, location script. We have the uh, player actions manager, and then location script on awake. We take the manager, we take the detector, and we boom register it as a collision detector delegate. Collision detector delegate implementation, right? So on load, boom, we take this, we glue it to here, and then whenever it collides, we have a callback and we do a check. And then when it checks, we enter. So that should be good. Let's run it. Um, and the last thing we need to do is to make sure tags are correct, right? So let's look at our layer orders. Um, default, it should collide with the player, right? That's fine. I think it should be character senses. Um, because I got like 4 minutes. All right. So if we look at our physics, where's physics? Physics. No, where's the collision? This is Unity 6. Oh no, where is it? Okay. Where is the collision matrix in Unity 6? It's still in project settings, but go here, project settings, physics. Project settings, physics. Was it in, it's two, but this is not the window. Where's project settings? Okay. Physics. 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 Settings. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah. So minimize. So the players are collision or character body, and character body collides with default character. I don't have one for character senses. I feel like this isn't right. I feel like character senses needs to collide with character body. Character senses are supposed to be colliding with character body. Character senses. Character body. Oh, yeah. Character body and character senses. Okay. Character body and character senses. Okay. Yeah. So this will be a character senses collision layer. So yeah, so Jessica, if the collision's not happening, make sure the layer is in the character senses layer. So I think this will be it. So when the player, let's see what happens. Oh, that is not the scene. Thank you. All right. Where am I? Scenes, world scene. Okay. And this is going to run bandit scene, right? Null reference, object not set. Which one is this one? Map object. Object. That's all right. We'll debug that later. Okay. So is this the bandit scene? Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. I'm running on low battery. I think this location spawn marker, let's I think it has to be outside. I'm gonna move it outside because I think it gets automatically removed. Let me do this. I think it automatically cleans up or removes spawn markers whenever we run the scene. So let's move it outside there. I want to see the location spawn marker. Okay, here's the location spawn marker. So it's there. So if I run south, it should hit it. Saved. Did I set the delegate? All right. We'll have to debug this next time. We'll have to debug this next time. So we'll do it one at a time. We'll get this finished. All right, guys. So all right. So we'll just end it here. Yeah, so the idea was to introduce you, Danny, to the like the owner delegate pattern, um, and then some other stuff. And Jessica, you could see at least like like what we're trying, how we're trying to when we're making the scenes, how we're trying to make things that's easier for a level designer to like do things, right? So that putting the spawn marker there and then changing a name is makes it easier for you to do that. And then you can kind of see like how the code works. So ideally, the player walks into this notifies the player actions manager, and the player actions manager like tells you the data. Okay, that's it. Any questions, you guys, about anything? All right, so I'll get check out dev. I'll call this town uh location name. All right, push in. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's just what I like to do. I think it's easier for me to type it instead of like looking for just because there's no autocomplete here. Um, I feel like it's just what I do. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. I don't really care. Um, okay. So I'll see you guys on maybe on Monday. Maybe we can like wrap this up, or I'll wrap this up over the weekend or something. Have you guys look at it, and then we'll talk some game design stuff on Monday. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye bye.